I'm Tara.
And I'm Ashley.
Each week, two movies battle it out in a bracket-style competition to find the ultimate romantic comedy.
This is the Trope Report.
Hey guys!
Welcome back.
This week we have When Harry Met Sally versus Just Go With It.
When Harry Met Sally is a 2 seed with a 91%.
Just Go With It is a number 15 seed with a 19%. I like these movies. This shouldn't be this far of a gap. I mean...
But these are the, two most different movies
That's true.
we've had. Don't you? It's two very different styles, very different, times. Just Go With It is very much a modern rom-com.
Mm-hmm.
When Harry Met Sally is a classic. I think it'll be interesting.
Yeah. All I'm saying is I enjoyed both while watching.
I had fun watching both.
Yeah.
For sure. All right,
Okay.
Should we start with When Harry Met Sally?
Let's do it. Give us a synopsis.
A crowd favorite.
Yeah.
Harry and Sally, played by Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal, go on a road trip from Chicago to New York where they argue about whether men and women can be just friends. They part ways contentiously but run into each other 10 years later. And they put the debate to the test when they try to be friends. This is When Harry Met Sally.
Okay, I love this movie so much. It is
I
so
love this
fun.
Movie. Come on, this is a fun movie.
Good movie. Oh my god, this is like true romance. This is fun. You're laughing. It's New York. You get
Meg Ryan's gorgeous.
She's
her
gorgeous.
curly hair.
Carrie Fisher. Hello.
I was like, who is she? I was like, she looks really familiar. I had to look it up. I was like,
what?
I thought she looked so different than
after all of our Star Wars talk today and the office. You don't know who she is?
I've really only seen her in Star Wars, where she has the opposite look.
Oh my god.
Right off the bat, my biggest was Meg Ryan. I thought she was so charming in this movie.
Yes, and as we know, mother of the great. What's his face? What's his name?
Who is
in the
she
boys.
The mother of?
The lead of the boys.
Jack Quaid?
Yes.
That's his mom?
Uh-huh.
I knew he was Dennis Quaid's son. Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan dated?
I don't know what the details were, but they popped out him.
Alright, guys, let's get into the plot now. So, we've got Harry and Sally. They're carpooling home from college, which was in Chicago. This was kind of a blind setup, because Sally's best friend was dating Harry, and she knew they were both going to, moving to New York after college.
Yeah.
So they've never met before.
They didn't want to ride together. Yeah. They were using each other to ride there, yeah.
Never met before, and they're going to go on this long road trip together. Instantly, they don't get along.
No. Complete opposites. Billy Crystal is making the most outrageous, Billy Crystal is so outrageously one-sided, and then Meg Ryan's so the opposite. They can't agree on they can't agree on anything. They're complete enemies. And I think it's just so funny how they make them look so young by just trying to change their hair. Like, Billy Crystal looks crazy. Meg Ryan has, this giant
I thought they did it pretty well. I thought they both looked a lot younger. I thought they used CGI.
CGI? There's no way they did CGI. And
they had to have used
Billy
face
Crystal's
tape or
hair.
Something, because I felt like he looked really smoothed out.
I really feel like they would not spend the money to do CGI hair plugs on Billy Crystal in this movie.
No,
that's in
the
skin.
80s. CGI his skin.
There's no way.
His
because
skin
I don't think
smooth.
he even looked... I don't think that he looked that good. There's no way that they did CGI. But they try and change the way they look throughout, because this spans over 10 years or 15 years or whatever. And they basically just change their hair.
But I thought it worked.
My god.
Anyways.
One other thing that I love about this is the old couples that they always have. Every once in a while, they'll sprinkle in these old couples that are telling their story of how they met, and it is freaking adorable.
Yeah, that was amazing. It's it was really funny, each one, too.
Yeah, each different.
It was a great button to, finish a scene.
It was just so cute. It was just so heartwarming. And I just feel like are they real couples? They must be
I
real
had the exact
couples.
same question.
Yeah.
And guess what?
What?
Not real couples, but the stories that they're telling are real.
That
They hired
doesn't make any
actors.
sense to me. They felt so genuine
They had
that I would
great
think
chemistry. All the
they
actors they
have to
hired.
be real. They would have to be real. I don't even know if I believe that. Like, they just have to be real couples.
Well, I found it on Google, so it must be true.
If it's on Google, it must be true. Adorable. Either way, it's adorable.
Yeah. Great, like, crutch. I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah, a little add in. Like, sometimes movies I feel like can't make that work. But, like, throwing, like, think about it. You're completely
Yeah.
sidetracked in the movie by throwing in just a random old couple talking about how they met. It's like a 1 minute clip. And you would think
Hmm.
that wouldn't work. It's disrupting the whole plot. But no, it just works
It works
perfectly.
really
It's
well.
just, it's just so cute.
um, so right away they're butting heads. We get their first big argument, I would say, when they stop for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
They go
Yeah.
to this diner, and this is where Billy Crystal makes his grand declaration that men and women
Mm-hmm.
cannot be friends. The
Mm-hmm.
only way they can be friends is if the woman is ugly, or like the man's always going to want to sleep with the woman.
Yeah, he said even if she's ugly, he's still gonna want to sleep with her. So basically, that's why men and women can never
Can
be
never
friends.
be
The
friends.
men are basically always gonna want to have sex with the women.
Mhm.
And she's like, I don't agree with that. I have plenty of guys that are friends. And he's like, well, they all want to sleep with you. So it's like not a true friendship type of
Mhm.
a thing. So, major plot point here, because this is carried out throughout the
This
whole
is the
movie.
basis basically of the whole
Yeah.
movie. Can men and
Can
women
they
be
be friends?
friends?
Yeah. So the whole time we get him making these dramatic, like, I don't, you just see them completely opposite. And then we
Mhm.
get the whole thing about Casablanca.
Yeah, where she's was talking about how she would never do what happened in Casablanca, and he's like, "Well, you must have never had good sex before."
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that like get called back later that happen in this scene. Like we've
Yes,
got
totally.
this, oh, you never had good sex before. You've got the way
Can
she
they be
orders.
friends? The way she orders, I love the
Mhm.
way she orders. I think it's so funny. She basically like tells the waitress, what's the waitress is ready to kill her. Tells her every little thing. Like if I want it a la mode, if it's not like if it's store bought crust, I want this and this on the side and everything on the side, right? And Billy Crystal is disgusted with it. But then we see when he grows throughout this whole movie, because they both grow the whole time. You see
Mhm.
them over so many years. It's so nice to see them changing and evolving the whole time. And um you see later in the movie that he says to his friend like, "Oh, she's the best orderer." Like, and
Mhm.
in this first moment, he's absolutely disgusted with everything that she does, and she's disgusted with him. They're arch nemesis, basically.
Yeah. And I feel like this did a good job of showing how extreme they started off, and it's a good basis for
Yes.
character development. And I think
Yeah.
it's true to real life. Like we're our most extreme versions of ourselves at that age. Cuz he's
True.
like, I read the last page of a book before I start a book because
Which
what if
is
I die tomorrow?
absolute a
He's like,
raging
yeah.
psychopath.
He's like, you don't have a dark side. I have a dark side. You don't even know what
Yeah.
it means. Like he's so
Mhm.
dramatic, so like
She is so
everything's everything's
she seems so
concrete to his
happy
head.
and loving and like
Hmm.
he is like pessimistic, complete
Yeah,
opposites.
complete opposite. She's a
But
grand
they end this
romance.
dinner thing. They
Hmm.
end the diner when they get back in the car. And he says to her, "Oh, like I'm attracted to you." And she's like, "Why would you say that? You're
Yeah,
dating my friend."
yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like does he try and take it back or something? But he's basically like, "We can't be friends because I would sleep with you."
Hmm.
And I think they just get to New York then, right? Eventually they
Yeah.
get to New York and they're like,
Hmm.
"We're never going to see each other again."
Yeah. They part ways. They're like, too bad we can't be friends. We think, oh, never gonna see each other again. But
Yeah.
5 years later, they run into each other at the
Mhm.
airport. They're both in relationships at this point, and they're on the
Mhm.
same flight. They get to talking again. Billy Crystal's really
Yep.
leading this. He like wants to sit next to her on the plane. All this
I
stuff.
love it. It was so funny. Like she is so grossed out by him, and
Yeah,
he keeps just chatting away. He switches
as if
seats so
they're
he
the
can
best
sit
of
next to
friends.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. And basically, this is where he comes up with his amendment, which then he unamends
Mhm.
of that, well, they're both in relationships actually, because yeah, you said he's getting married.
He's engaged and
He's
she's dating
engaged and
someone.
she's with Joe. And so he was like, actually, since we're both in relationships, we actually can be friends. But then somehow I forget he talks himself out of it, which I don't
Hmm.
remember why. But then he's actually like, actually, no, we can't actually be friends. So he's still back on the subject of, I don't think men and women could ever be
Yeah.
friends.
But
Oh, because remember he spirals and he's like, because then your significant other would ask you and be like, why do you need like them in your life when you have me as your significant other? Why
mm,
do you need to rely on someone else? And then they get jealous and then you think something, and he goes on and on. He's so funny in this. He's so good.
yeah. Well, this is the first time we see him bend. You know, everything was so concrete the first time they met. Now we see he's starting to be flexible and he's like, "You want to
He's
go get
bending a
dinner?"
little bit, but then he
Yeah.
snaps right back.
But he still asks her to dinner.
Yeah.
And she's like, "No. Bye, Harry."
Yeah.
Leaves. They don't see each other
Which I
again
was like,
for
damn, she's harsh. Like, she just straight up sees him randomly in an
she
airport and
does
is just
not
like,
like him at this point.
yes, no, she does not like him.
And then again, they haven't seen each other for 5 years. But this
5 years again. Now we're
next
10
time,
years from when they first met each other.
yep,
10 years,
and they're
people.
both single. She recently got out of a
Mm-hmm.
relationship with Joe, who she was seeing this
Yep.
entire time. He has a
Mm-hmm.
divorce, if you can even
Mm-hmm.
believe it. So now it's like his rule
This
doesn't
is the
make
wait.
sense, but
At this lunch with her and her friends, they're sitting there, and I thought this was so extreme. The one friend's like, I think it was Carrie Fisher, who goes, like, she's basically saying, I don't want to be with anyone right now. I just got out of a relationship. And Carrie Fisher's like, well, the right man for you is out there now. And if you don't get him right now, you're basically screwed. Like, you're going to have to spend the rest of your life knowing that your true husband is with someone else. I'm
mhm.
like, they're so extreme with
I'm
this.
like,
Basically, it's do or die,
yeah,
people.
I'm 25 and I'm already scared. She's 31 and they have her quaking in her boots. Like, she's
Well,
terrified
she
now.
said, no, 100%. They scare her straight in this. And she said, you don't really have to worry till you're 36. So don't worry, people.
Yeah, that made me feel a little bit
And
better.
if you're 36, I'm sorry.
So, Harry and Sally run into each other at a bookshop. This is so funny because she's like just browsing books and he's staring at her. And her friend's like,
I know, from
there's
behind the
this
shelf.
guy like staring at you.
No, how does she say it though? Because everyone in this movie is so funny. They really bring their A game. Carrie Fisher is like, there's someone staring at you. And the way she says self
In
help or something,
yeah,
or, and
in the self-help aisle or something like that.
no, but it's like,
But it was
it
something else,
almost
yeah.
sounded like touching himself. I don't know, whatever. It was hilarious.
Yeah, it was a good meet cute of like them coming back
They
together.
have, and that's the thing. This movie
Hmm.
has to get a bunch of more points because they have so many meet cutes where
Yeah,
they run into each
and
other.
she
Trope, trope,
looks.
trope, trope.
Sally looks over and she sighs and she's like, "That's Harry. I know
Yeah, like I
him."
hate him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She goes over to chat with him. They realize they both have like recently broken up with their significant others, so they go out to dinner and they actually start to bond.
yeah, totally. You
Yeah.
can see that they're hitting it off this round,
Mhm.
and I felt like they had a really like good scene. She had a really, really good scene where it's kind of just like a monologue of herself and she's explaining what
Mhm.
happened to her life like after
Mhm.
all this time. She went to New York City and she was so excited to get there and she was so hopeful, you saw 10 years ago. And now you can see that, working full time and she's with this guy Joe and she thinks she has it all at one point and then things happen and they break up. And she has this monologue where she explains like we always thought we would be the couple without kids and we could travel and we could do whatever we
Mhm.
want and we wouldn't be those other type of people that are tied down. And she was like, but we never actually did anything. And one
Mhm.
day I saw like a family was just like, I want that. And
And
he
he
said
did it.
no. I mean, yeah, and they broke up. They didn't want
Mhm.
the same thing after, 5 years. But the way she just was so good in that scene.
Yeah, it
It's like a
was
little
amazing. And
monologue. Yeah.
Harry's listening and you can just see them starting to like have a genuine connection, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And after all that, I mean, Harry's a mess with his divorce. And I think he even explains, she cheated on me with someone
Mhm.
else, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of this, she basically says, "But you know what? Harry's basically I'm a mess." And she goes though like, "No, I'm fine." She's trying to keep it together. That's
Mhm.
her how throughout the rest of this movie, she
Yeah,
keeps
and
saying
she's
she's
like,
fine. She's
"I'm fine.
fine.
I
She's
don't care
fine.
anymore."
Yeah. which clearly she's not, but
Totally. And they're walking after dinner and they decide, like, I think we
oh,
should
I
try to be
love it.
friends.
Yeah. Can I just say, because this goes on for 2 years, this most of this movie, right? They have the 10
Mhm.
years, but then you really
Yeah.
focus on like 2 year span of their lives. You see all the seasons of New York,
Oh,
and
it's
that was
gorgeous.
such a gorgeous
Gorgeous.
little piece of the movie. Like that was a whole nother character. Was like you
Yeah.
saw when the seasons were it rooted in where you were, how far along they've been. I loved it.
I mean, I was in a meeting today and she asked me what movies we were doing for the podcast. And I said, When Harry Met Sally. And
What did she say?
she was like, I just watched it a couple weeks ago. She says she watches it
Oh,
every fall just because the like foliage is so
oh, it's
beautiful and
such a
the
fall
like it's
vibe.
such a fall movie.
Yeah, watch this movie with like a cup of
Yeah.
tea, maybe a cookie, blanket. Crack a window open though. You want to chill in the air,
Yeah.
you
You
know?
want a crisp air while you
Yes,
watch this.
totally. Totally. Oh,
Um,
so good.
but we get a montage of them being friends. I mean,
Wait, but before this, one of my favorite lines,
oh,
sorry. Before the montage, because
mm,
montage is next. Before this, he says to her, you may be the first attractive woman that I never would want to sleep with.
yep.
Like, now he's like, okay, we can finally be friends because I
Because I
finally
don't want to
don't want
sleep
to
with
sleep
you.
with you. I'm so unattracted to you. I don't want to sleep with you. So, you know what? They can finally be friends,
Yeah.
right? And she's just like, yeah, thanks, Harry. All right.
Yeah.
And then we had the montage.
Yeah. And that's where we get that beautiful, right? This is where we get the beautiful fall foliage scene of them. Are they in a museum? Is
No,
this
this
that
is the
moment?
montage. The montage is
Oh, I thought this was a part
they're
of the
watching
moment. Sorry.
Casablanca and they're talking
Right.
throughout the whole movie.
They call
And
each
it's
other at
really cute.
night and watch
I wrote,
shows.
you know what? Yeah, I wrote down like I like this type of montage here that we have not seen before because it's music in the background and we see them hanging out and becoming close friends. But we also have a third layer of they're actually talking on the phone as well. And they're they're talking about watching Casablanca together, which was again a throwback to when they first met.
Hmm.
And you see like you get to know them even more. So you're
Hmm.
seeing them become friends, you're hearing them over the phone, and we get a little music. Very well
And
done.
it's a very realistic montage because
Yeah.
this is supposed to be them developing a friendship. And what do you do with your friends? Like most montages that we see in movies are they're riding a motorcycle, they're having picnics, they're doing all this like flashy
Yeah,
stuff. But in reality, this is
this
when you
whole
get to know
movie
someone, is when you're
this whole
just
movie was
talking late at
realistic.
night. Yeah. I
And I
mean,
think that's why it stands the
ugh,
test of time.
I
Like
agree.
you actually are seeing and why you just absolutely fall in love with this movie cuz
Hmm.
like they are so realistic with just living their lives, going about their business. Nothing is outrageous. The characters are semi outrageous, but not even really.
Hmm.
Like these are real people.
These are believable characters,
I
absolutely.
love it. I love it. It makes you totally fall in love with everything about it.
So next, they set each other up on a double date. This is fun.
Mhm.
They
This is so fun.
so they're at dinner and they're on this double date. They each brought a friend for each other. And
No, wait, no, no, no. Ash, you are missing multiple famous scenes. They go to the diner and basically he's claiming to her. They're starting to date again, right? They're pushing each other to date again.
mhm,
And she says to him, basically every woman that you probably have been with has faked an orgasm because he thinks that he has knocked it out of the park
yeah,
every
he thinks he's
time.
amazing in bed.
Yeah. And so the most iconic scene is she's like, I'm gonna fake it. She doesn't even say it. She just
Mhm.
starts faking one at the diner in front of everyone. And this is so, I don't know how she did this. This was so good to do this in
It's
front of
so funny.
everyone.
It's so funny.
It's so funny. And Billy Crystal's just sitting there like, I don't really know what
The
to do, so I'm just
performance
gonna
of a
watch
lifetime.
her as a performance of a lifetime. It's so funny. And then it ends the scene goes on for 2
Mhm.
minutes or something
It's a
straight. It ends
long
this
scene, yeah.
Yes! Then the scene ends and the lady next to her is like, "I'll have what she's having."
Yeah.
So good. So, so
Um,
good.
yeah, I don't know how I missed that in my notes because I do have
I'm
that line under
shocked.
comedy.
I am shocked.
I have it under quotes. I don't know how I missed it. You're right, that is a very important scene.
That's
But yeah,
iconic.
the lead up to it's so funny because he's like, "Ugh, women can't fake an orgasm." She's like, "Oh,
Yeah,
really?" And she just goes into it.
easy. Yeah, so funny. The
Okay,
first time that we really see that they are falling in love slightly, we get a little tingle of something in the New Year's Eve party, okay? We get a little something, and
mhm,
they're dancing together, and are spinning, and the camera's staying on them, and we see like they're first laughing and having a good time, and then they do another rotation, and now we see they're starting to question, they're hesitant
mhm,
because they're like, what's this feeling that I'm having? We start to see this is where are they more than friends? But they want to stay friends, right? This is just a dabble. We just get a little
mhm.
hint, okay?
Yeah,
But then
where
they
they
go on. They're going on double dates now.
yeah. So they each set each other up, and they're out to dinner. She's trying to make conversation with him. Neither of the dates are going well. But then her friend Carrie Fisher brings up an article that she read. Well, she actually
Mm,
quotes an article, and she's
yes.
like, "Oh, I actually read this in some newspaper." And of
Yeah.
course, the guy that Sally's out with was like, "I wrote that," and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so funny! I never quote
Mm.
things."
Yeah,
And
they
I mean, they're
immediately
perfect for each other. They just start
totally.
oh, they hit it off. They're talking the
I
entire night
loved
about
I loved their relationship throughout
yeah.
this movie. I thought
I
it
mean,
was
this was
so fun. I thought
adorable.
it was they're both hilarious side
Yeah.
characters. I love that they immediately end up together. Like, and usually I feel like a side character in these romantic
Yeah.
comedies, they don't end up
You wait
together,
till the
or
very
you just get
end.
you
Yeah.
get a sprinkle, you wait till the end, and maybe like in the background you see that they're making out or
Mhm.
something. But here, like they are the ones that are
Oh,
getting
yeah.
together. I love it.
So, yeah, after the date, they of course asked to swap. And
Yeah.
Harry and Sally are both
Immediately in the funniest way.
separately saying like, "Oh, just don't break it to them yet." Like
Yeah.
Sally's
Give it a
so
couple of
sensitive
days.
right now,
Yeah.
and she's saying the same about Harry. But yeah, they're perfect for each other.
They
Obviously,
immediately get
doesn't
in the
work
cab
out.
together. Yeah.
Then Harry runs into his ex-wife. This was a
Mhm.
cute scene. They're like shopping in a store
Helen.
together. They start to do karaoke
Yeah.
together, and he just stops
Mhm.
and like she sees, oh my goodness, his ex-wife is here. He's
After him,
spiraling
like,
now.
yeah, after he tried to get over her for a while,
Yep.
he sees her and everything goes back to square
Not
one.
only does he see her, but his ex-wife is getting married.
Yes.
That's a tough pill to swallow.
100%. So
Um,
he's losing his
yeah.
mind and they go over to their friend's house. Now the friends that were just on the double date, now they're moving in together, right? A little bit of time has passed.
Time has passed.
And
Yeah, they're moving in together.
they're perfect for each other. Yeah. So they are helping them move into the brownstone or something like that. And I loved this scene because Harry is so stressed after seeing his ex-wife and he starts yelling at everyone because he's just losing his mind a little bit and he runs outside and then Sally runs out after him and they're yelling at each other back and forth. Like they're kind of cutting deep a little bit about how, their insecurities and stuff. And he needs to
Mhm.
get it together. And you're always saying that you're fine, but you're not over Joe. Why won't you just face it? They're going back and forth. And then they pause for a second and he just goes, "Can I say something?" And she's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm sorry." And they just immediately hug it out. They're perfect for each other. That was
Yeah.
so cute. I loved that scene.
In this scene, he's like, I don't know how you never feel bad about you and Joe breaking up. He's like, do you not have
Yeah,
any emotions?
yeah, that's what I'm
Um,
saying. They're cutting deep at each other.
yeah. But then she finds out that Joe's getting married
Yeah,
to his
shortly
assistant.
after.
Yeah.
And she was like, "What the hell? We
Hmm.
said, like, we weren't the type to get married. We weren't going to tie each other down." And it wasn't just that he didn't want to get married, it was me, because now he's getting married to someone else. So she's having a mental breakdown as
Why
well.
didn't
And
you
he
want to marry
runs,
me?
yeah, and he runs straight over to the apartment to comfort her. Which
She
then what
I mean, she's an
happens?
absolute mess in this scene, and I respect her for
Yes.
it because that's like, if you're having a breakdown, that's what you look like. She's got tissue, she's blowing her nose left and right.
Yes.
Her face is
Yeah.
so wet, her hair's a mess. I mean,
Mhm.
this should have been like kind of an icky scene, you know?
I know. Yeah.
But he's
But
comforting
he's
her, they're
comforting.
hugging each
Yes.
other, and then he's like leaning back to get a better look at her face, and he's kissing
Mhm.
her
It's like a whole just
forehead.
intimate,
Yeah, it's
they're
very
comforting each other
intimate.
scene. Yeah.
And he kisses her forehead, and then she is the one, I would say, that initiates the kiss.
Yes,
She
yeah.
kisses
Which I'm
him.
glad, because if he did that to her in that vulnerable state,
Hmm.
I would say ick, gross. But
Yeah,
because
she
she's,
wanted it.
yeah. Mhm.
I would say it's not a very hot scene,
No.
for two characters to start kissing, because again, she's a snotty mess at this point. But again,
Yeah.
this is a realistic movie. They're giving us
Yes.
the dirty truth here.
The sloppiness. Yes.
um,
But I
but
love the next morning when they wake up and they both realize, what did we kind of do? Like they kind of like, they liked it, but also they're like, what did we just
well,
do?
I thought it was sad because I felt like she looked really happy about it afterwards.
Okay,
She
well,
looked
you can
like
see,
she was blissful
yeah.
afterwards, and he looked like, oh my god, what did I just
He
do?
was panicking a little bit. That's true. That is fair. But they both end up calling their friends immediately and they're like,
Hmm.
"Oh my god, we just slept with the other person." And this they kind of both said like this
Yeah,
is a mistake.
but I will say, she said that after he came back in and he's getting dressed, and she's like, she looks like when she wakes up, she's smiling and she sees him getting
Yeah,
dressed, and that's when that smile fades, and she's like, oh,
that's
where are
true.
you going? She sees that he thinks it was a mistake, and I think
Yeah.
her pride made her
And that's why
backpedal.
she's Yes,
And
I
that's why
agree.
she's telling the friend, I guess it was a mistake. I just, I hope I say it before he does, because she's scared of rejection
Yes.
now.
True.
Whereas
So
he
true.
knows. I think he could also sense that she was happy afterwards. And
Yeah.
he's like,
And he's
I hope she says it before I do, because he doesn't want to hurt her. And I
yeah.
think that's where we see the two are feeling different things right now.
Yes. Yes. Yep, I agree.
So they go to dinner because they need to talk things out. I mean,
Yeah.
when he leaves, he kisses her and he's like on the forehead and is like, "We should grab dinner tonight. I have to go now, but let's grab dinner tonight."
Mhm.
Ugh. And this
Yeah,
dinner's
I know.
awkward to me, but
It's so awkward, and this is the first time I felt awkward in the movie. I felt so bad for them because she immediately says, she gets what she wanted and she immediately says, that was a mistake. We shouldn't be doing
mhm.
that again. And he's like, "Thank God." And
I
you can see even
know
with that she was upset because
she's
I
hurt
think she
by
was holding
this,
yeah, I think she was holding out like she knew he thought it was a mistake,
but
but
she
I
was
think
yeah
she
she had
still
hope.
was slightly hoping that he would be like, "No."
Absolutely.
And then they sit in silence and they're never in silence. And he makes the comment, "I love that you can be with someone that you can sit in silence and it's not awkward, but it's
But it's
awkward."
so awkward.
It's
Yeah, that's
so
what you say when it's
awkward.
awkward.
And
Um,
now they're weird, which is very unfortunate.
they don't talk for multiple weeks leading up to
Yeah.
Marie and Jess's wedding, which is Carrie
Yeah.
Fisher and the other best friend. They're getting
Yeah.
married. This is the first time, at least for what the movie has shown us, this is the first time that they've seen each other since this awkward dinner.
Mhm.
And they start to
Mhm.
fight because Harry's like, we gotta move past this.
Yeah.
And Sally wants him to admit that it meant something to him.
Well, yeah, I have the quote because this stuck out to me so much.
Hmm.
"Why are you acting like this meant nothing?" And he goes, "I'm not saying it didn't mean anything, but why are you acting like it meant everything?" And she goes, "Because it did." Like, that's a little bit of a slap in the face, Billy Crystal, because
Absolutely a slap in
it
the
did mean
face.
everything. You were friends
This
for
hurts.
a while. You were
Hmm.
best friends. You did everything together. We see montages of you all the time. Like, you know that you're meant for each other,
Yeah.
and then you go, "Why are you acting like it meant everything?"
He makes
That's
it
so
sound
mean.
he makes it sound like he hooked up with her because he pitied her. That's what I
But
wrote
we
for the
know
scene.
that this isn't the
I
case, people.
know,
We
but that's what
know.
it
We
sounded like,
know that
and
they love each other.
that that broke my heart because that's the worst
Yes.
possible scenario
Yeah.
that you could like. I felt for her. I was like, I would never want to make the
She
first
lost her
move after
best
watching
friend.
this
Yeah.
because she
She
put herself
basically
out
loses her
there.
best friend. Yep.
She loses her best friend, and I think she was like, she knew she was in love with him.
I think
She
so too.
lost
She
the
just came around to it before he did.
and she put
I
herself
know.
out there, and I think this conversation made it clear, like, we both know that you were into it and I wasn't.
Yeah, it was
This
really
hurt.
sad. Yeah. And basically, he kind of knows that he effed up, or at least he misses her
Mhm.
company because he is calling her 24/7, leaving her voicemails, and she won't answer the phone for him. He's singing in the phone, he's doing all
Mhm.
this stuff. And then finally, one time, she picks up and she's like, "You need to stop calling me. I can't do this anymore." Like, basically, we took it too far. Like, and if if
Mhm.
this isn't gonna work out, like that's it. Like, what?
Yeah.
I can't be friends now at this point because they slept together, proving you can't be friends, boy and girl, and then sleep together. You just can't be friends. People, friends with
Yeah.
benefits doesn't work. Anyway, so then we get again the first New Year's. They were getting a
They
twinkling of them falling
almost
in love,
yeah.
and now
New Year's
they're at their
Eve,
worst.
he what does he sees another couple? Is that it? Like,
No, he's is
cuz
he
there's
what?
there's a moment where he realizes like I need to go to her right now.
Oh yeah, yes. Well, he's watching TV alone, in his
But
apartment,
he's
and he
he's
says,
like
"No, I'm."
walking
Oh,
down the street.
yeah. Then he gets out and he leaves because he's like, "What am I doing sitting here?" And he's walking down the street. He like gets an ice cream or something, which like
Mhm.
it's probably so cold. He sees another couple, and then he looks up and he sees the arch. What's the arch called
Yes,
again? I
where
forget.
she
Where she first dropped him off
Mhm.
at in New York, and they parted ways. And then he's kind of sitting there, and you hear his like internal monologue going, and he's kind of just like, you see him changing slowly, like, what am I
Yeah.
doing with myself? Like,
Mhm.
why did I just let her go? What is
Yeah.
happening? And this brings on the best ending ever
Mhm.
in a movie, may I say. Is that crazy?
It's a
This was
little crazy, but
such, no, I don't think so. This was such a good freaking ending because you see finally he's coming around to the idea that they're meant for each
yeah.
other, and he starts walking, right? He knows she's at a New Year's Eve
Mhm.
party with Carrie Fisher. So he starts walking, and then he's like, what? And then he starts going faster and faster. Now he's sprinting. He is he is sprinting
Yeah.
to get to her at the New Year's Eve party.
Mhm.
We see she's having a miserable time and she's about to
Yeah.
leave. And he tries to get a taxi. He can't get a taxi. And he finally gets to the New Year's Eve party and they make eye contact with each other. And she immediately has tears in her eyes because she loves him so much.
Mhm.
But at this point, she doesn't think that he loves her back. Like
Mhm.
she's so hurt by him. And he comes, I mean, they say things back and forth, but the most iconic line ever
Mhm.
is when you realize you want to spend the rest of your life with somebody, you want the
The
rest of your
rest of your
life to
life to
start as
start as
soon
soon
as
as
possible.
possible.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How could you not say? And the New Year's countdown is
It's
on,
a great
and
speech. I
then
mean,
New Year's Eve song is playing. Like, how could you not just
it's
love
one of the
everything
most
about this?
famous speeches ever where he's like, I love the way you order your food and the way you crinkle your
Yes.
you get a
Yes.
crease above your eyebrows
Mhm.
when you're mad
He's
at
saying
me and
all the things that
all the
he
little things he's
notices
noticed
about
about
her.
her.
Yes.
But she doesn't let it come easy. Originally she's like, I'm not your consolation prize. You don't get to just
Yes.
come in here and get me after you realize like you made a mistake and you're
Yeah,
lonely.
well, even after he says one of the best lines in cinematic history, she
Mm.
goes, "I hate you. I just hate you. I hate you."
Mhm.
And then they start making out. And then we get them as an old couple,
Yeah.
which is just so
Well, they were normal aged,
adorable.
but
Well, it's clear
But
that it's been like
we
a
got
year or
the
something.
interview. Yeah, they're like, we just got married.
Yeah. Oh my god, it's just so cute. They're like, we met at, whatever, like 20 years ago and all that. Oh, it's just so, this is
We
such
hated
a
each other at
cute.
first, and it took us however many years to get
Yeah.
together. Great ending, great movie.
But I think this just proves that men and women can't be friends. I don't know. What do you think? You have a bunch of
Whoa.
guy friends.
I mean, I don't agree with that. I mean, I think men
Yeah.
and women can definitely be friends. Um, but not if they're attracted to each other, which clearly they were. I think that's the
So you're not
problem.
attracted to any of your guy friends and they're not attracted to you.
No.
I guess that's it, people. Now, this is going to be a big contrast to Just Go With It.
Yeah, just go with it. There's no deeper layer, guys. It
There's
is what
no
it
deep. But
is.
you know what? This is a fun
It's a
flick.
fun movie. I watched it with my
Yeah.
parents because we watch movies every Friday.
Yeah.
And they're laughing the whole time. You know how
Yeah,
Adam Sandler is. You're
yeah.
giggling.
Yes.
Why don't you give us a synopsis though?
Okay. Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler star in this light and fun romantic comedy. Longtime coworkers and friends find themselves in a fake relationship in order to get what they want. The audience tries to keep up with the web of lies as we're whisked away to the islands of Hawaii, where Adam is trying to score the love of his life and Jen is competing with a longtime frenemy. Will their forced proximity outside the office have them blossoming into more than coworkers? Question mark. It like we're saying, it's fun, okay? We get
Mm.
Hawaii as the backdrop. That's freaking so
Come
fun.
on.
You have a great cast. The kids in it are
The kids are funny.
hilarious.
These kids are
Yes.
actors.
How could you not like Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler? I
Mm.
love both of them. They're always a good add into a movie.
Yeah, they
Love
do a
it.
lot of
Everything
movies
about it,
together for a
it's
reason.
yes. Well, it's just it's fun. I don't know how you couldn't like this. So basically, this starts out and you see, which is heartbreaking, that Adam Sandler is getting married to his wife, which is his wife in real life.
His wife in real
But
life, yes.
yeah, it's like a throwback like 80s wedding. He's getting married and this is setting the scene for how he is today, right? He
Hmm.
overhears his future wife say like, "Oh, well, he's going to be wealthy or whatever, like I'm just marrying him, but he's so ugly and
She doesn't like
I don't
his family.
yeah, she's insulting him and he leaves like they never get married. He goes to a
Calls off the
bar.
wedding, yep.
Yeah, he goes to a bar and he has his wedding ring on and this like really good-looking woman
Hmm.
comes in and all the guys
All the
are
guys want
psychotic in this
her.
bar. Okay, they're crazy in this bar, coming at her like vicious as she's walking in. And she sits down next to Adam and he's like, "Hey, you dropped your purse," because I guess she did or something. And
Hmm.
then she's like, "Can you just leave me alone? Like I don't want the attention," because she's used to all these guys fawning over her. And then she sees his ring and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were married." Which also, it's like, just because he's married doesn't mean that he might
Yeah,
not be trying
that
to
he's
hit
not
on
hitting.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that you were married." And he puts on this sob story, but it's true, right? He explains what his wife did, but he's like,
Hmm.
blah, 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 whatever, she left me. I don't know. Well, she immediately takes him home. She feels so bad for him, and he's like, "Oh my God, this works. I can get women this way of like
Yep.
wearing a wedding ring, pretending that my wife's a horrible person that's cheating on me."
Hmm.
And all these women fall for it.
Which, I'm sorry, this would not work in real life. Don't you
I
think?
don't know.
In what
I
world
mean,
is
listen,
this a
I'd
good
be
pickup
like,
technique?
yeah,
I'd be like,
I'd be
oh,
like,
that's sad. Maybe you should see
yeah,
a
you're
therapist.
damaged goods. Like,
I'd be
I
like,
don't
I'm
want to
not.
be involved with a
Why
psycho
would I be
wife.
involved with a married man who has a
Yeah.
psychotic wife? Yeah, I would
Maybe
just
this
be
works
like,
with
you need
some
a
people.
therapist. There's
Maybe
this
we're
is
just too logical for this.
no way this works.
I don't know.
But yeah, so then we get to
So,
modern day, right?
yes, that just sets the scene for why he is the way he is
Yeah,
now. Because I think we see him like there's a short montage of him doing this like throughout the years to this day.
he got a nose
And
job.
he got a nose
He
job. He
had like
looks
a
better. I mean,
ridiculous
I
fake nose on
can
in
I
the beginning.
just say I was kind of attracted to Adam Sandler in this movie, which I feel like he normally is like the epitome of a dad, whatever. But I feel like he
He
was fit for this movie.
wasn't there. I think there was a shirtless scene where I did write down he's kind of built in this
Yes,
movie.
that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
yeah, he was kind of built
Yeah,
in this
when he
movie.
was in the pool in the one scene, I was like, "Whoa,
I don't. I wouldn't say I was
what
attracted to him in
happened?"
this movie, but definitely more so at the end because I love
Yes.
a father. Like,
Yeah.
well, that sounds bad.
Father.
I like a man that can be good with kids. You know.
Yeah. Mhm.
So does Jennifer Aniston apparently.
Yes. Totally.
So
So then we see that
yeah.
he's doing this at a party. Like this is current day now, and he's pulling his move one more time. Well, he's actually not pulling his move one more time. He meets Brooklyn Decker. I forget what her name is in the movie. And they hit it off right away, and they basically like sleep together on the beach at this party that he's at. And then in the morning, she sees in his pocket is a wedding ring. So she flips out. It's
Hmm.
like, "How could you do this to me? I can't, you're disgusting. I can't believe
Yeah.
that you're married." And he doesn't have time, of course, miscommunication, to explain that this is all an act. Well, he can't really
Well,
explain
he's
this is
trying to
an
come up with
act.
a different cover story because it's
Yes.
he's gonna seem like a slime ball if he's like, oh, I wear this to get ladies. Like,
Yeah, of
so, but he
course.
can't think of a cover story, so she storms off. She's not into him anymore.
Yeah. So then we go back to so he is a plastic surgeon in real life, and Jennifer Aniston is his like assistant,
Hmm.
which I find it hilarious that they are trying to make Jennifer Aniston seem homely, okay?
She's gorgeous this
She's
entire movie.
gorgeous.
But
Even
they
if she
make
was
it seem
freaking
like,
bald, she's gorgeous, okay?
yeah,
Like, they throw on some glasses and that's all you're gonna
I
do.
know.
They CGI hair onto Billy Crystal in When Harry Met Sally, but they can't CGI something more on on her in this to make her look uglier.
Also, a
Anyway, so
fun
she's
cameo. Rachel
what?
Dratch was the patient that they're working
Yes.
on.
She's so
That was
funny.
funny.
Yeah, she's so funny. So basically he is explaining to Jennifer Aniston, right, that like he met the love of his life. Like I need help with this,
Yeah,
right? Like
okay.
which also how did you also know she's
Okay.
the love of your life? She's just a freaking
They had
bombshell
one night
gorgeous.
together. One night.
Yes. Yeah,
It was a
totally.
magical night, though.
Yeah. We also get to see her kids, which are adorable. The little boy is so freaking adorable, but also funny. He's like serious, closed off more. And then the girl is hilarious. She thinks that she wants to be an actress and she's basically just being a British person the whole movie. Like I don't think she ever has a
Horrible
regular
British
accent.
accent.
Horrible.
Hor
Horrible.
But
It's so funny.
she thinks she's a little actress. He
Yeah.
his goal is just to swim with the dolphins.
That's all he wants to do in
That's
life.
his whole goal in life. He's like, what's Adam Sandler's name in the movie?
I don't know. I just said Adam Sandler the whole time.
He's like, Adam, you're rich. Why can't you like take me to
I
swim with the
love that
dolphins in
he's trying
Hawaii?
to pull this over. I
Yeah.
love how he's trying to make Adam take
And
him.
you know what? Adam should have done it.
Yes, 100%. We
But
also find out that like their dad's not in the picture and is not a good person, basically.
yeah, they're divorced. The dad does not spend time with them. He's not
Yeah,
around. But
no,
this is where we he gets the idea like they kind of scheme.
yeah.
They
Oh wait,
scheme.
but one other thing is make a Devlin because this comes in later. The kids say I need to go make a Devlin, and you find out that Jennifer Aniston
Arch
calls when they
nemesis.
have to poop make a Devlin because that's her arch nemesis from college. It's like she hates this
She
woman.
hates
She's
this
so
girl from her
competitive.
sorority, hates that
Yeah.
one.
So they just say Devlin.
Yes. So but this is when they come up with this scheme of like, oh, how can he get back in this girl's good graces? He'll pretend he's in
Yes.
the middle of a divorce with this horrible
Mm-hmm.
woman and Jennifer Aniston can play her,
The ex-wife, the
the
future ex-wife.
ex-wife. And so
Which, oh my god, we get such a good little makeover scene.
yep,
I love
Keegan-Michael
it.
Key is the hairdresser.
Oh my god, he is so freaking funny in
We
everything he
love
does.
Key and Peele here.
Which, like, they love Key and Peele. Okay, they literally don't do much to her hair. They really don't do
They
anything to.
really don't
They just take off her
change anything.
glasses.
They take off her glasses and she buys all these like expensive clothes.
But you know, I love watching them just shop.
Yeah,
Something about that in a
she's
movie. That's why Clueless is one of the best movies ever created because you're
mhm,
just shopping the whole movie, and what could be
mhm.
better than that? Nothing, people.
But yeah,
Love
so
it.
they basically just go on a shopping spree. She's negotiating all these new clothes because he's like, "Do you really need two
Mm-hmm.
pairs of these?" And she's like pretending like he's abusive to the shop girl, and
Yes, and the shop girl's like,
the
you should
girl's
have
like,
every
"I
color.
think you should get one. Yeah, get
I
more."
love it. I
And
love
they're
it.
just
It's so
running up his
fun.
credit card, but then we get the great like reveal where him and his
Oh
new
my
girl are
god.
sitting at dinner and
Her
her
entrance.
entrance is like everyone's blown away. She's
She
so
has like
gorgeous.
6-inch stilettos on, and she has the tight bodycon dress throwback to the early
And
2000s, and her hair's
she's
blowing in the
being such a
wind.
bitch and I love
She's being
it. She tells
yes.
like who was that guy? Was it like her
Can we just
chauffeur or
start acting
something?
like this in work? Like, can we
Yeah.
just always play a song when we enter into the
She's
office?
like,
And
keep the
like, I'll
car
put a
running,
fan on
wait for
you?
me.
I love it. I
She's like
love
snapping her
it.
fingers. She's flirting with a
And we even
waitress.
see that Adam is like, whoa, what happened? Like, you look
Yeah.
incredible.
Which again,
A
she
little bit
didn't
of
really
chemistry.
change much.
No, she didn't change a thing. She's gorgeous no matter what she wears, 100%. Anyway, so
Mhm.
after they are chatting, and oh, her name's Palmer. Brooke and Decker's name is Palmer, the who
Yeah.
Adam's trying to be with.
Okay.
Um, so but yet I know no other characters' names. So she finally is like, okay, I've accepted. I've met this woman. I see that she's a real person. You weren't lying to me. I'm okay with
Mhm.
all this, right? Like, I can date
Yeah.
you now. They go outside. Jen's like, bring the car around. And then she gets a phone call from her kids.
Mhm.
And you hear her like yelling at her kids on the phone. So Palmer's like, what the hell? Adam, you didn't tell me that you had kids.
Mhm.
And he's starting to panic. But
He
Palmer
starts to
loves
make up a
this.
little like you can see he's gonna make up a story to explain them away, but then
Yeah.
Palmer's like, I love kids. I'm an elementary
Yes.
school teacher, and he's like, okay,
Yeah.
this is my in. So he was
Yeah.
rolling with it, like, oh yes, my two angels. Like these are
Yeah.
his
I
kids
love
now.
it. So then I think that's why she wants to have a whole get together and we end up at like McDonald's at this play get together
Well,
where they can
this
all
was
meet.
I'm sorry, I know we need to cut scenes, but this was a really funny scene where he calls the kids in to for lunch to negotiate
Yes. Yes,
with
yes, yes,
them.
yes, yes.
And they are just so funny. The girl's like, I want to do an accent. And he's like, all right, let me hear it. She's like, hello. And he's like, no, absolutely never do that again.
Yeah.
And then the little
And the
boys,
little boy has the whole negotiator like he's literally in The Godfather. It's
he's a
so
negotiator.
funny.
He's like, I want to go to JD McFunnigan's. And Adam Sandler's like, well, what if we go to JJ Choo Choo's? It's closer to the house. And the kid goes, mention that slop hole again, and I walk. And it's just so good.
The
They were
kids were the
both
star of the
the
show. They
kids
were
were
so
amazing.
funny. Yeah, they really were.
But anyway, so they end up
Yeah.
going to JD McFunnigan's or whatever the place
And
was called.
at this place, the little boy plays the greatest blackmail of all time. And while Adam leaves to go get napkins, he puts on this whole sob story for Palmer and is like, my dad promised me that he would take me to Hawaii to swim with the dolphins.
Mhm.
And now, because he's dating you, he has to cancel it. And of course, she's
He's
feeling
so
so
good.
guilty.
He should be
He's
the
so good
actor
at
of the two
this.
of them.
Yes, he's so good. And
It's
Palmer's
so
like,
funny.
"Oh my God, I can't believe that you would do this." And of course, Adam has to, he comes back, he overhears this, he has to cover again. And he's like,
Mhm.
I just meant that we could all go together. And now we have them all going to Hawaii, which is so good. Um, Also, we have the little side thing. Again, I love how you see these sprinkles throughout these movies where you know what's gonna happen. You know these people are gonna
Oh,
end up together, right? This
absolutely.
is a romantic
Yeah.
comedy. But we see that Adam is overhearing Jen call this guy, like, and he's basically
Oh my
making fun
goodness,
of her talk.
yes.
Yeah, he's making fun of her talking to this guy, this other doctor or something. And he's like, "Oh, you want to go on? Are you going on a date with him? Oh, like," and making fun of the guy, like
Mhm.
playfully. You can see he's so jealous. He's so
Absolutely.
jealous.
Yeah.
He wants to be with Jen, but he doesn't see this yet. He doesn't
Mm-mm.
see this. Anyway,
Um, so now
they're
we're in
flying off to
Hawaii.
Hawaii. Well, before Hawaii, we also have freaking Dolph joins or whatever,
Yeah, at the
who they have to
airport, Dolph joins.
yeah, they have to pretend
Who's supposed to
now.
be Jennifer Aniston's boyfriend, the guy
Yeah.
she cheated.
Yes.
Dolph is
Which
his
he's just
like
like
dorky
he's
ass
pure
cousin,
chaos. He is
and
pure
he's doing what
chaos.
accent is that? Like Swedish or
I
Nordic or
have no
something?
one of those lands. I don't
He's doing
know.
a weird accent. He says he's a sheep farmer and he sells
Yes.
sheep online. Like he is just
Listen,
insane.
he's insane. This is not the comedy gold is from these children.
Yeah, I
They're going
agree.
heavy with his comedy
I
and I
thought they
didn't
kind
find
of
him that funny.
I thought they missed the mark with him, but the kids were funny.
But I feel like you always have one of those characters in an Adam Sandler movie of just like
Yeah.
an outrageous
Oh,
person.
absolutely.
So you kind of
Um,
needed him.
I wrote so when they get to Hawaii, they have like the scene where like Palmer's walking out of the water in her bikini and she's so hot.
Why do I feel like when I walk out of the water, I look like this? But then you catch a glimpse of yourself and you're like, that's not at all what I look like. But when someone's walking out of water, you always feel like I am a supermodel. Is this just me?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe not.
What?
Well, maybe not walking out of the ocean. I feel like walking out of the ocean, I'm tripping over myself. I'm getting hit by
Oh,
waves. I'm
yeah, the
getting
waves
knocked
might get
out.
you.
But
But there's
getting out of a
something
pool,
about coming
sure.
out of a body of water where I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm looking good, people.
But Palmer was wearing the lowest rise everything in this movie, and it was
She,
horrifying.
oh my God, I literally have a note in here that I am literally like having a heart attack just
Mhm.
thinking about how low rise everything. I mean, you can see basically
It
everything. Might as
was
well just not be wearing anything. They're so low
it was,
rise.
I
It
was
made me
having nightmare
uncomfortable.
flashbacks to,
Yeah,
like,
no.
when that was in.
Horrible. Horrible.
Anyways,
When they
but
get
we
to
see
Hawaii,
yeah,
Adam's picking out a freaking engagement
he's
ring.
looking for an engagement ring. What the heck?
Hello?
They've known each
They
other, like, a
just
week.
met.
Are you
Yes.
kidding me?
I thought that was insane.
Yeah. And then they go to a
Then,
luau, right?
yes. Yes.
Jen is gets angry in this, right?
Yeah.
Luau,
She's ready to
Dolph is
leave.
being ridiculous. She's ready to bail. She's like, I'm done
Yeah.
with this. This trip to Hawaii isn't worth me like putting up with this guy. But guess who she runs into?
Devlin.
Make a Devlin. Gotta go make a Devlin. She runs into
Yeah.
Devlin, played by Nicole Kidman. Are you kidding me?
Ugh. God love her.
Love Nicole
She's so good
Kidman.
in this. Her
She's
husband
so
in
funny
this
in
is
this.
so good too. They're both
Hmm.
hilarious.
They're both good in
And
this.
you could see I love the little lines of like maybe this is kind of how you feel at work when I make those little comments. Like she makes those lines that are
she,
like so insulting, but they're
mhm.
coming off as nice, but they're not. Do
But
you
yeah,
know
backhanded compliment kind
what
of
I
deal.
mean? Okay, people tell me that I do this, but I don't mean to do this, people. I am not a Devlin. I am
Tara's the
sorry.
queen of the backhanded compliment.
I don't mean it. I don't mean to be mean. I just have opinions. I'm
Tara will
sorry.
pull the. I just love how you don't even care what you wear.
I just love that you are a sweat stork and you don't brush your hair. I love that you're carefree.
I love that you have sort of a grungy look to you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm
We
sorry.
love it about you, Tara.
Oh my god. Anyway, so this is where now she has to lie when she runs into her
Yeah.
ex nemesis because she's like, I'm doing great. I have a husband. And she
He's a
claims Adam is.
doctor.
Yeah,
He's
a
rich. He's a
surgeon or
surgeon.
whatever. Yeah. Well, no, plastic surgeon. I guess same
Plastic
thing. I don't know.
surgeon. That's still surgeon.
I guess I don't know. But because in reality, she like is not with her husband or divorced or whatever. You know, she's struggling. She's a mess. So
Yeah.
she has to put
She
on this
doesn't want
whole
to reveal
show.
that.
And Nicole Kim is like, "Wow, I can't believe you're doing so well. Like, did you hear about Susan? She's divorced. Like, I can't even
Yeah.
imagine being a single mother. Like, she's
Yeah.
so rude." So
They also say that
now
her
it's
husband
like,
invented the iPod.
yeah, which I'm like,
Or something.
oh, what? Wasn't that like Steve
And Adam
Jobs? Like, how
Sandler's
could you
just like
even
iPod
say?
guy the whole time.
Yeah, I can't believe the iPod guy just picked up his iPhone and called himself I-Man, is what
Yeah.
Adam
Yeah.
Sandler says. Anyway, so at this point, I even wrote a little note to myself. I am loving the chaos of this. This is so
Hmm.
fun. There are lies on lies and layers of just
Yeah.
nonsense
Because
happening.
now Jennifer Aniston is lying, but it's a different lie than what they're telling
Yeah,
Palmer. So now you gotta
yeah.
balance. You're juggling both of these
Palmer
lies.
is thinking that they're getting a divorce, and then Nicole Kim is thinking that they're happily married,
Yep.
and everyone's lying. Dolph is some fake character in here, and the kids have to pretend that they're different kids. So it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so fun. I love it. So they go now for their hike for the day,
Yeah. The
right?
next day, Palmer signed them up for all these adventures to do
Ugh,
together.
give me a
And
break,
Adam Sandler does
Palmer.
not want to do that. But he's like, all
No.
right, let's bring the kids along. Again,
Yeah.
Palmer's in low rise. Her
Mm-hmm.
crack is out. Dolph's looking at
My
it.
God.
Crack was
I mean,
always out in middle
she
school with the
looks
low
great, but
rise.
please stop with the low rise, or at least
No,
get them like
it's
mid.
mid rise. You gotta get mid rise. Because honestly,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't consent to seeing your crack. And people that wear low
No,
rise, their crack is out.
it really
Gotta
should
say
be
it.
censored. Really, no one wants to see someone's crack. Anyway, so then we get a Jen's bathing suit scene.
Mm.
She is so freaking fit. She looks so good.
They're going swimming in the watering hole. Adam Sandler is shocked. He's like,
Yes.
who knew this was under
What
all of
was
that?
underneath all that? Ugh, she
Yeah.
looks, I
And
mean, both of them are beautiful.
the son is like, um, don't let her fool you. She goes to spin class every day or something like that.
Yeah, so good.
Because
It
he's like,
takes
how did a
work.
single mom get that body? And he's like, she goes to
Yeah.
spin class all the time. So I was
Now I
I
think,
I liked that they added that because
yeah,
it helps kind of make
that is
the
not,
standards a little more
she works
realistic
hard.
that she
Yes,
doesn't
she
naturally
works
have
hard.
this.
One thing that I we also find out here is that the son doesn't know how to swim because they're at the watering hole.
This is so
You find
funny.
out he
His
wants to swim with the dolphins, but he can't freaking swim.
yeah. Adam Sandler's like, why did we come here?
Like, you literally dragged us
Are you
all to
kidding me?
Hawaii to go do
But
this.
then it, but then it's also sad because the son's like, well, my
Yeah.
dad was supposed to teach me how to swim, but he
Yeah,
never
he literally
did.
says, "My dad doesn't have any time for me." That's so
Oh,
sad. Yeah. Um, that's when, um, well, the next day,
we
Palmer
see them. Yeah, go ahead.
wants to have Adam with the kids all day because,
Mhm.
right, when he
They
says, like, my
split
dad
up.
doesn't have time for me,
Uh
she
huh.
takes that as, like, Adam does not spend time with him when in
Yeah.
reality he's saying his actual true dad doesn't spend time with him. So she's like,
Yeah.
"You guys need to go and spend the day together." And this is such a fun, cute little So
Mhm.
basically, Adam's teaching him how to swim the whole day, and it's so cute.
Yeah.
I'm ogling, I'm falling in love with him. This is also
Mhm.
when we see his hot bod. And guess what? Brooklyn Decker and Jen Aniston show up and they're also falling in love with him. You see them
Yeah, you see them
just
both, like, just, like, looking
falling in
at
love.
him. He's
Yeah.
holding Kiki, which I have that written down. That's the fake
Mm-hmm.
name of the little British girl.
Oh yeah, Kiki. Yeah.
Kiki, that's such a dumb name for her.
So good. Okay, so basically at that point then also we run into Devlin again and she's like, "We
Mhm.
have to go to dinner." Like
Mhm.
the two couples, like you and Adam and her husband. So now they have to come up with a whole scheme of Dolph is gonna take Palmer off the property and go to some like remote freaking restaurant. And so Adam and Jen can pretend to be a married couple and go to
Yeah,
dinner with
without
Devlin and the
Palmer
husband.
catching them. Yep.
Now, this is where things heat up, people. This is where we get some romance. they have to go pretend to be so in love, and they're told Devlin and her husband do this weird thing where they stare at each other before they ever part. Literally, just someone goes to the bathroom, they
Mhm.
stare into each other's eye, and they say all the things they love about each other. So over the top. Who has time for
Crazy.
this?
Yeah.
So she's like, you should really try it with Adam. And because Jen's so competitive with her, she's
Well,
like, we're gonna do it
originally
right
she
now.
says no. Originally she
Yeah.
says no, and Devlin's like, well, yeah, not every couple can do like, not every couple
Yes.
like is as romantic as us and can do it. And Jen's like, you
Yes.
know what? Why don't we do it right now?
and they have to look into each other's eyes and they say like true like just
I
friendship
I
like they what
really
they love
loved what
about each
Adam
other.
said. He's like starts to talk about. He's like, that smile is so beautiful. It starts my day. That smile. He's like, when I'm in the
Yes.
operating, all I can
Oh,
think is only 20 more minutes until I can see that smile again. Adam Sandler has me
stop.
swooning. He has me
Yeah.
swooning.
I'm completely swooning. Are you kidding me? I mean, did you see 50 First Dates? This guy can make you freaking swoon. He's the king of comedy and he makes you swoon too. He can do it all, people. Anyway, it's so sweet and now we get the freaking hula scene, which is
This is this is a
crazy.
crazy scene. They
Okay,
have a
this is the
hula
one scene that
competition.
I didn't like this though. I didn't like
Yeah,
this
I thought
scene
this was cringe.
because they have all okay, obviously Jen and Devlin go up and they have amazing bodies, right? And they put on the
Yeah, they're
little
putting on
coconut
coconut
bra and
bikinis.
they pull up all the old and overweight people and they basically make fun of them on stage. I'm
Yeah,
not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this. That wasn't
no.
necessary. You could have just had regular people like getting off with a seam or something.
Yeah,
Because
and
eventually,
they're making the crowd like cheer for who they want to stay, and they're just like
yeah.
pointing at the old, like overweight people, and the no one's cheering, and they're like, "Well, you should have seen that coming." Like, it's just, and
Yes.
I just didn't think it was funny either. I didn't think it was enough payoff.
No.
Like,
No,
this
it
was
wasn't.
not a
There were
funny
so
scene.
many and when I say I was actually laughing in this movie, I really was. Like this movie was funny, but this scene, you could have done this better. This should have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
rewritten. Didn't like
And it
it.
was a long scene of them
Yeah.
dancing. They're battling it out. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
they're having a dance off. So funny, but it really wasn't
But
that
you could
funny.
have even done the dance off without having insulting every type
I
of
didn't,
woman.
yeah, but I didn't think it was a funny dance off.
Well, they're in the hula competition, and then
Hmm.
basically they're equally everyone's
It's
clapping
a
equally for both of them
tie.
as a tie, and Devlin's like, absolutely not. This is not a tie. What's the tiebreaker? So they bring in the husbands,
Hmm.
and they need to move a
A
coconut from their
coconut up the
stomachs.
body. Yeah,
Yeah,
to their mouths. The
without their
coconut
hands.
kiss.
Yeah. And so basically, I mean, this is a good scene because you see Adam and Jen together, like, ooh, what's happening?
Yeah, and
They might
it
have even been
basically,
able to just skip the hula scene and just do this,
yeah, that's what
honestly.
I was thinking. Because
Yeah.
this is the scene where, like, you see that they have kind of physical chemistry together, I
Physical,
guess.
yes, yeah.
So
Their
this
sparks are
happens.
flying.
They win, of course. They rub their bodies together. They get the coconut in the
Mm-hmm.
middle. They're walking
Mm-hmm.
back. They're laughing. I mean, you can tell they're both on
And
a high from
but
this night.
before this, Devlin's husband freaking drops a coconut and has to pick it up with his butt
I didn't like this either.
cheeks. I did not like
I was
this.
hoping we
I
would
didn't
just skip
like
right past
it.
it.
I'm sorry, I had to say it because it plays in later. Because we find out
Does
later
it
he's
really?
gay.
I
And
don't
they
know
were
if
like,
that
didn't you
plays
see how he
into it.
picked. No, they said, didn't you see how he picked up the coconut? He's gay.
Okay.
That's what they said in the
I know
movie.
they said it, but I'm like, this is still dumb.
Yeah,
Doesn't
agreed.
mean anything.
I agree. I
Anyways,
agree.
so they're blissfully walking up to their room.
Mm-hmm.
He's dropping her off.
Oh,
She asks
yeah.
him if he was jealous of that.
There's such heavy flirting in this.
Such heavy flirting. Because she's like, oh yeah, he offered me a job. That's why we went out for
Mm-hmm.
lunch. And he was
Like,
like,
I
I
was
thought it
just
was a
playing with
date.
you.
Yeah. And she's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, were you jealous? And he was like, well, it's a shame the coconut got in the way tonight. This is like
Yeah.
shameless flirting, by the way.
Yeah,
Like, this isn't
100%.
subtle, which is
No,
crazy because you've
this
been
is
obsessed with
full
Devlin this whole
blown.
time.
He was picking out an engagement ring.
And they're about to kiss when the kids interrupt
Yes.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, this is just crazy that he was obsessed with Devlin this whole time, and then it's so, like, but
Agreed.
whatever.
And so he
We'll buy
leaves
into
after
it.
this steamy scene. He's headed back to his room. And he literally is like, wait a minute. He gets to his door. He's like, what am I doing?
Hmm.
And he turns around because he's like, I gotta go back. Like, she's not going to
Yeah.
bed. I gotta go back to her. And he starts going back, hits the elevator button, and bing, who's there? Dolph and
And
freaking
Palmer.
Palmer. And Dolph told
Dolph's.
Palmer,
He spilled the beans.
yes, that he's looking out an engagement ring. And Palmer's like, let's get married right
Let's
now.
get married right away.
That's crazy.
And
And
as they're having
then,
this conversation,
mm-hmm,
elevator ding dings again. And
mm-hmm,
Jen comes out and she sees what's going on. Clearly, she was coming to his room.
100%, they're going to find each
Yeah.
other. And they get interrupted by Dolph and Palmer. And she's like, oh, I was just looking for Dolph. Like, come on, I've been waiting for you. Like, she's playing it off. And you can see, like, oh, this is upsetting. They want us
Yeah.
to be together. This is sad.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it's psychotic how they basically are getting married the next day.
Oh, yeah.
This is insane. Because
This is
Palmer's like, let's
insane.
just do it right here. I want to be eloped. Like,
And he, like,
this is
clearly
crazy.
he's not happy with this decision because he pulls her aside and he's like, do you think this is a good idea? Like, should I be doing this? And
He's literally trying to back out.
he's like, last night, like, it felt like we had something. I don't want it to be weird between
Yes.
us. And she tells him, you know what? That offer that I said I wasn't going to accept, I took it and I'm moving to New York.
Yeah.
She said, I don't
Because
have
she's
time
like,
for guessing.
yeah, she's
I'm
like,
a
bye.
mother.
I have
I'm a mother and I don't
kids.
have time for you to be guessing how you feel.
Yes, 100%.
Good
100%.
on you, Jen.
Yes.
An
So what does she
example.
do? What does she do? She goes to get a drink, obviously. Makes
Uh,
sense.
I mean, that looked like a good drink.
That I
I
love a
love a drink
tiki
on the
drink.
beach. I
I
love a tiki
love
drink.
a
I wanted to be
rum,
there.
tiki, coconut. Love it. So she's at the bar and she's drinking her sorrows away, and who comes up is Devlin. And I like this. We get a heart to
This is
heart because
sweet.
Devlin basically is like, I'm leaving my husband and he's gay. And Jen's like, Adam wasn't even my husband and I'm divorced and struggling and whatever. And they have a heart to heart. They're like, why were we so competitive? Why were we so psychotic?
Hmm.
And as she's um talking to Devlin, she kind of admits, like, I think I'm in love with Adam, but I can't tell him because he's getting married to someone right
Hmm.
now. And that's that, you know? And Adam has been like sitting behind them the whole time
This
or
didn't make
something.
any sense
I
because
thought this was a little crazy
they
because,
shot the scene normally. Like, we can see it. who
We
all
could
was
see Adam's
around.
not there,
No
but
one
yet
was
he
behind.
overheard the whole
Yeah, and
conversation.
then the next time it
It's a
pans over,
little
he's like, I was here the whole time and I heard everything. What?
it's a little movie magic, people. It's a little movie magic. So he's like, "Did I just hear that you're in love with me?" And then I have a quote from him.
Ooh.
I just think, okay, he goes, I'm about to start, because he's like, I left Palmer, because I'm
Mhm.
about to start my life with the one I love, but the one problem was, as he's standing up with Palmer, literally about to get married,
This is also crazy.
yeah, I'm about to start my life with the one I love, but the one problem was the one I love was not with me. He's saying he's getting married to Palmer, standing next to her, and he's like, wait a minute, I don't love her, I love Jen. Which, like, okay, if comparing last lines and romantic gestures, like, when Harry Met Sally blows it out of the
Yeah.
freaking water, that is not romantic compared to Billy Crystal's line. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it's like nice that he's like, I love you and I love your kids. That's nice. And they
Yeah,
kiss. But then she's like, where are my kids? Palmer's taking the kids out for ice cream after she got
that's
left at the
weird.
altar? Are you
That's
kidding
weird.
me?
Palmer was so made out to be just like so ditzy and go with the flow with everything. I was just like,
But
this is stupid.
I think one of my things I didn't like about the movie was normally when there's someone else in the picture, you make them so unlikable that you're okay with their heart getting broken. They
Yeah.
made Palmer the nicest, sweetest girl.
Yes.
She's intelligent, she's well spoken, she's sweet,
True.
and you feel like she's an elementary school teacher, and you just feel so bad that she got caught up in all this.
Yeah, 100%.
That's just a shame.
But we can't care that much because then the very end scene is they're getting married.
Yeah.
They're at their wedding, and can I just say, Jennifer Aniston's dress in this movie, her wedding dress, is so stunning.
She looked great.
Stunning. I loved her dress. So they are dancing the night away, and the movie basically pulls out and it ends. Was
Yep.
this fun? Yes. Will
Fun
I
movie.
throw this on regularly, like just as a background? Sure. Is this as romantic as When Harry Met Sally? Absolutely not.
We'll find out in the criteria.
Yeah, I guess we should.
Let's get into
Yeah.
it.
Okay, let's start. All right. Tropes. When Harry Met Sally.
Okay, let's see what I have written down. I've had a lot actually written
I got a
down.
lot written down,
I've got
people.
opposites attract,
Yes.
friends to more than friends. We've got New York
Yes.
City. She wants to be a
Yes.
journalist.
Yep.
We've got a New
So
Year's Eve
far, literally, you're
kiss.
going down my list. These are all my bullet points.
We've
Yep.
got a New Year's Eve kiss. We've got
Uh
a
huh.
grand romantic gesture.
Yes.
The last one kind of wrapped up in all of these. Like the person that was right for me was in front of me the whole time, which was kind of his moment
Yes.
of recognition. Like,
I also have side best friend characters getting together. That's always a good
that's a
little
good
fun
one.
trope. And I also have all the freaking meet cutes.
True, lots of
Non-stop
meet
meet cutes
cutes.
of them. I love it. They're always running into each other because they're just gravitating towards each other. They're meant for each other.
Yeah, this
This
is
is
a
a high
tropey
trope
movie,
movie.
guys. A
I'm gonna
9?
say 8-9. 8-9.
8.5?
8.5. I think so. It was very tropey, but
It's
tropey in the
high.
best way. Best way possible. Okay, tropes for just go with it.
Just go with it. We've got, I guess, friends to being something more. Because
Yeah, friends to
you,
lovers for
yeah,
sure.
they're friends. I know she
Fake
works
a
for him, but they're definitely
relationship.
friends. Yeah, fake
Yeah,
relationship. Um,
with the wrong person type of a thing, like you were saying.
yeah, the
Um,
one you love was in front of you the entire time.
yeah.
He has to realize
Um,
that.
I honestly
Oh.
didn't write any. It felt like a tropey movie, but yet that's all I have written down for tropes.
Yeah, I mean the whole fake relationship like plays out a lot through the movie, which maybe
Yeah, I
that
mean that's
lends
a
to the.
major.
I mean, there's shenanigans going on. Shenanigans is a trope.
There's definitely stuff going on. I would say this is more of like a 6-7 though, rather than an eight
Yeah, I
nine.
agree. 6, 6.5.
I think 6.5 is fair. Because it
Okay.
felt tropey, but all right, quality.
I mean, when
For
Harry
When
Met
Harry
Sally
Met
has got to be. Is that
Sally.
a 10? Is
I
that a
wrote
10?
nothing. I wrote nothing. I just wrote 10. This is an absolute 10, and
It's
don't even
got to
try
be a
and argue
10,
with me.
right?
100% don't even try and argue that point with me. This is the
We're
highest
on the same
quality
page this
romantic
week,
comedy
guys.
movie.
I
Yeah,
know last week
we're
was a little
really.
contentious, but we're on
I
the same page this
know.
week, guys.
Well, that's because you just didn't get it, Ash. But this
Okay.
is like everybody knows this. Come on, quality
Mhm.
movie. Okay, quality for just go with it. This is obviously lower.
7.
I have 7.5. I'm good with a 7. I'm okay with that. It's not a high quality. A lot of great
You've
actors.
got some great actors, but
Yeah,
quality wise, meh,
I'm okay with a
meh.
7. We're really jiving tonight, Ash. We really are. Okay, lightheartedness. When Harry Met Sally. I
7.
actually think this is light. What'd you
I said 7
say? I
because
had 9.
wow. I mean, it is a
Because,
lighthearted
okay,
movie, but there's something about it that just feels a little bit more serious.
there's a little bit of a serious element, but the whole time you're watching this, you feel great. The seasons and the backdrop of New York City just set a cozy feel for you. Their true friendship throughout most of this and their antics of them just like growing together as people
Mhm.
is just such a nice thing. When they have the fight in front of the brownstone, they make up immediately and apologize. They're going through their own issues of breakups, but yet they're helping each other get through it, where it's like kind of with comedy and fun. And I just felt like this was lighthearted. They do sleep together, and that's a major thing for their friendship. I would be willing
Mhm.
to go down a little bit, but I don't know if I would say so heavy as a 7. I don't feel
What
heaviness
was
while
your
watching
original
this.
score?
9.
I mean, you're convincing me to maybe bring it up to an 8. I just felt like a lot of the movie was depressing to me. Well, yes,
Depressing.
like the missed opportunities, yes, but the fact that they're like he's divorced, she's 31 and like gets stuck out
Life
of the
happens,
6 year.
Ash.
Yeah, and I'm 25 and I'm feeling the pressure, and I felt the pressure for them at
Oh,
31.
please. Listen, they life
I'm just
happens to
saying,
them. Shit
I've seen this
happens.
movie a few
It's been
times, and every time like I get a little stressed.
no. Okay. This is 10 or 15 years of someone's life, Ash. Shit's gonna happen, but they are always there for each other and they're always making each
I'm
other
just
laugh.
telling you the vibe I feel when I watch this movie.
I just don't know. I feel like it's such a cozy, fun movie. I really did not feel. Because even though they're joking about how, like, 36 is really when you have to worry about, like, finding someone, like, they're constantly trying to find someone and go on dates, and you're seeing them try and figure themselves out. But they always make it in a light way. Like, it's always fun because it's through, like, their friendship. What do you think?
I think an 8.
I'm okay with an 8. I'm okay with lightheartedness for just go with it. I mean, this is obviously much later.
This
This is basically
is a
just
super
as
light
you said,
movie. Yeah.
goofball energy. This is just, I
This
wrote
is a
9.
lighthearted movie. This is a goofy
Yeah.
movie. You don't have to think at all. You know exactly what's going to happen.
You're
Yeah,
literally just
maybe a
chilling in
9.
Hawaii the whole time.
You're watching kids be silly. Like, it's
Yeah.
a fun movie.
9. I agree
9.
with that. Okay. Comedy for When Harry Met Sally.
It's a funny movie
This is kind of tricky because both of these movies I find funny, but I
in
mean,
different
When Harry Met
ways.
Sally, different ways. Just Go With It is obviously goofy. When Harry Met Sally, it's like true funny. Like this is, I don't know. Mm, I don't know. What do I like better? I like both of them. They're both just funny. But the one thing that I will say about Just Go With It that I didn't like as much is that they have that whole Dolph character, which is stupid and actually brings the
Yeah.
funniness down. Because I wasn't laughing at that, and they're trying so hard for it to be funny.
I
Whereas
will
when Harry Met
say,
Sally, when it was funny, it was funny.
when my dad was cracking up at that scene of Dolph helping the sheep
This is
get the
such like a
Heimlich.
grasping for comedy. This is like trying so
I
hard
know,
though.
but we're talking about Dolph, and I was like, it appeals to a certain type of person because my dad was
No, I
cracking up at
I
Dolph.
totally, it's a total dad energy. I
It's a
totally
dad
get it.
movie. Um,
I just feel
I
like
mean,
the
I think these.
comedy
I would
in,
say maybe a 9 for When Harry Met Sally and an 8 for Just Go With It. What do you
I'm
think?
totally good with that. I'm
Okay.
totally good because I had, I think, like 8.5 and an 8.
Hmm. Okay.
So what do you think? 9 and an 8?
I mean, maybe 8.5 and an 8 is better because I felt like I wasn't laughing out loud all the time at Harry and Sally. Because, like, there's some jokes where
Like,
no matter
Billy
how many times
Crystal just really got me.
yeah, I think the main thing is like she's the man. No matter how many times I watch it, I'm gonna be laughing out loud. But when Harry met Sally, like all the jokes that are coming, so I feel like I didn't laugh out loud this time watching
You
it.
know all the jokes that are coming with She's the
They're
Man. It's
still
just freaking
funny.
hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Eight and a half
that's
and
why
an
I'm
eight.
saying
I'm
eight
good
and a
with
half
that.
instead of 9. Yeah,
I'm okay with that. Okay. Romance for When Harry Met Sally.
I
Come
mean,
on now.
9,
Come
9 and a
on.
half.
It is so freaking good. What did I write for this? I wrote 10. Eek! Oh no. It's so cute. They're best friends forever. They literally hate each
I
other,
would.
but then become
I
friends
think the
and
only
have the
reason,
best
yeah,
friendship.
the only thing that's keeping me from a 10 is that I wish he knew that he was in love with her longer.
But
Because
sometimes it just
he doesn't realize it till, you know, the fourth quarter, you know?
one of my favorite movies of all time, Silver Linings Playbook, which Ashley did not let me put on this bracket, but it's one of my favorite movies, is at the end, he's like, he makes the big speech and he's like, I'm just so sorry that it took me so long to catch up. Like, I love you. And that's Billy in this. Like, I'm so
I
sorry that it
know,
took me
but
so long, but I finally realized I want to spend the rest of my life with you.
I'm just saying
And
a
you wanted
9
to
or a
start
nine and a
now,
half
and he
instead of a 10.
sprinted.
Because
That's
I
fine.
just want both main characters to be in love with each other the entire time, but they're too scared to say it. And he's not feeling it until the very end.
But you
That's the
you
only thing.
can listen, I'll go to a 9.5 for you, but I'm just saying they both know they're in love with each other. Like you see that first New Year's Eve scene and they're both questioning, like, wait a minute, I think I'm falling for this person. You can see it in their face, but they don't want to say anything because they're both so scared to ruin their friendship because their friendship is so
I
good.
don't like how he treated her after that though. I really don't.
I
How
mean,
he
he
made it seem
immediately
like
no. I agree. He didn't have
yeah,
good, like when he said, like, why are
that
you
really
pretending that this
brought
is
me back.
everything? That is, but he keeps trying to call her and she's like, I don't want anything to do with this. But again, she wants a grand romantic gesture, which he is not giving. He's trying to make everything
That's
go
the
back
only
to
thing that's
normal.
keeping me from a 10. I really didn't
Fine,
like that
fine.
because in my
Though
head a
you
10
do need
is
some.
spoiler alert, a 10 for me is Pride and Prejudice.
Oh my God. Okay.
I'm sorry, but
We'll
that's
just,
my
okay.
10. That's
We're
my
discussing that
summit.
next. No, listen, we're discussing that next week. But can I just say that every movie has to obviously have a like something bad that happens.
Yeah.
Some like
But
this is it for them.
it doesn't always have to be because of a character's actions. Like Pride and Prejudice, it's a misunderstanding. You
Okay,
know,
we can't
neither
delve into Pride
character
and
did
Prejudice
anything
yet.
wrong. I'm
Not
just saying
PMP yet.
this was
Okay,
him acting in a way that I didn't approve of.
fine. I will move it down to a 9.5, but as long as it is up there, because this is
It's
like
up there. It's
I
definitely up
walk
there. It's a
away from this
romantic movie.
movie. No, yes,
That's the only thing. We're looking for perfection in a 10. That's the only thing.
fine, fine. You know what? That's a fair argument. When you walk away from this movie, I'm feeling so effing romantic. It's so good. Okay, just go with it. Romance. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, like they bring it, the two of them.
I mean, I love that quote where he's just like that smile. Like I live for
Yeah.
that smile. Like,
When he
oh,
says what he
if
loves
a
about
guy
her,
said
yeah.
that to me,
Yeah. I
oh.
like how they're best friends in real life and in the movie and then become like lovers. Do you know what I mean? Like I like it just is like they
Yeah.
obviously have a connection and they vibe well
But I
together
still
and you
wouldn't
get
put
that
it
throughout the
too
movie.
high. I wouldn't put it
It's
too
not as
high.
high as it's
A
not as high
7?
as When
I
Harry
would say
Met
like
Sally.
7.
I would say like 7.5 maybe. Like they give
Okay.
good vibes.
Like it's above average, but I wouldn't say
Well,
it's
actually maybe do I say a 7 because it's not like, well, I don't know. I don't know.
I think a 7. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
let's do a 7 because you know what? He's kind of a sleazeball in the beginning, actually.
yeah. And
That's
I mean,
true.
he's literally engaged to someone else and
Yeah, you're so right. I just got swept away in that
you got swept away.
they work well together. Let me tell you that. All right,
I mean, they
just
have the
go with
same sense of
it.
humor and I love that. Like
Yeah,
they
they work.
banter,
They work
they
well. They work well.
yeah.
They banter well. Yes, 100%. Okay. But if we're looking at characters,
Mhm.
romance, I mean,
Yeah.
that's yeah. Okay, just go with it. 37.5.
That's
When
not
Harry Met
bad.
Sally. When Harry Met Sally? No, Just Go With It is actually coming in a lot higher than some of these
Higher than
other
I
movies. I
thought.
feel like we
Yeah.
were like agreeing
This
and
might
just
be
going with the flow
this
with
might be
this.
controversial
This might be
because
controversial,
I
but
I
you
don't
know
think Just
what?
Go With It is like people's go-to
But you know what?
rom-com.
Just Go With It is freaking fun. Like, it's
It's
so
a fun
stupid,
movie,
it's
guys.
fun.
You should
I
watch
think
it.
it's fun. Don't shoot the messenger, people. Okay, When Harry Met Sally, 44.5. Is this the
Whoa.
highest we've had?
This has got to be
It
the
is
highest. I mean, it's a classic for a
absolutely,
reason. It's a classic for a reason.
absolutely well deserved. 100% round of applause for When Harry Met Sally. It is such a good freaking movie. It hits on all of the categories. It's literally the lowest score is lightheartedness at an 8. I mean, everything
Mm,
else is above.
it's hitting on
It's
all
so good.
cylinders. Yeah.
It's it's perfection. It really is. Whew. Okay. Okay, don't forget to check out the bracket on our website. The link is in the description. We'll also be posting the final scores.
Send us your thoughts on this week's episode at thetropereport@gmail.com.
Or check out our Instagram and Twitter at The Trope Report, where we post quotes from each episode.
Next week will be
Oh,
Pride
God.
and Prejudice, my favorite movie of all time, versus New in Town.
Okay, and we're having a special guest, one of my BFFs, Emma.
Okay, guys, that is it for now.
Until next time, keep
Keep
it
it
romantic.
romantic.